Good morning, and welcome, guys. Welcome to our Friday Eve edition. Good morning, North Coast. I am Zoe Sturgeon. I will be your anchor for this hour-long show. Now, we are going to be starting today with Heili and Deon, who are going to give us the weather and surf report so that you can prepare for what I hear is going to be a painfully hot day. So, ladies, I hope you shaved those legs last night because you're going to be getting them out today. Then after that, we're going to be joined by our regular Prathisha Singh for our daily dose of inspiration. I'm excited to hear more from Warren Loader, who is back in studio with us to talk about his Thoughts of a Middle-Aged Man blog. And today's story is From Thrings to Oglesby. Hope I said that right, Warren. Our next guest is Kevin from Hazpak, the experts in packing, consultation, training in the dangerous goods industry. That's going to be a good one. Then after that, we are joined by our regular Sharon Sinclair from Chandramala, who takes up her weekly spot, and we are going to be talking about celebration of self. Now, acknowledging who I am and where I am now, even if I cannot see my future. Good Morning North Coast brings you an interview with Dale from Syntelo. This was a pre-recorded interview that we are going to be seeing today. The show closes on a fabulous music video by Blohm that you can enjoy, and we are going to be ending with our usual laugh out Larry for the kids, so you can get your wild children together, get them in front of the TV for a little while. And also, we always have to mention, especially because today it's going to be a hot day, huge thank you to our water sponsors, Poos of Water. Guys, get your water in hands. We're going to need it today. So, without further ado, let's get into the weather and surf report.
Good morning everyone, and welcome to your weather for today, brought to you by Belito Gas and Braai. Vandag is dit baie warm, so as jy buite is, deur die loop van die dag, onthou maar jou sonroompies. Today we have a high of 35 degrees and a low of 17 degrees. The real feel will be 37 degrees and the real feel shade 33. We have an easterly wind at 15 kilometers per hour and wind gusts at 44 kilometers per hour. Also 0% chance of showers today, so drink maar baie water vandag. The sunrise will be at 5:12 a.m. and the sunset at 6:09 p.m. Pretoria het ook uitpas weer vandag with a high of 32 degrees and a low of 16 degrees. And then Joburg ook lekker warm vandag with a high of 30 degrees and a low of 16 degrees. And then Cape Town, a shower in spots in the morning, otherwise clouds and sunshine with a high of 18 degrees and a low of 13 degrees. Next up will be your surf report brought to you by 10 skryfbehoeftes and Deon Bosman from Victory Surf. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good morning, Belito, and welcome to Thursday morning's beach report. And another beautiful morning on the east coast of Africa with hardly a breath of wind out there. It's a light northerly wind right now with glassy conditions, and that's going to change, unfortunately, towards the afternoon. We've got a big buster southwesterly that's going to hit us around 4 o'clock this afternoon. So please make sure you get in the water early this morning. It's still really nice and glassy peaks out there. Still small, only 1.5 meters max at most of the beaches, but still some fun 3-foot waves with a straight east swell once again. So fun little peaks at all the beaches, and that big westerly expected to whip us at about 4 o'clock this afternoon, and that will definitely chop the ocean up completely. But it'll bring some welcome swell in for the weekend, and we're looking forward to some really nice waves on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So prepare yourself for some bigger stuff. It's definitely some waves out there right now, but bigger stuff to come. Enjoy your day. We'll chat again tomorrow.
Welcome back, and welcome back, Prathisha. Thank you for joining me again.
Thank you for having me again, and welcome and good morning to everyone. Sorry, the presenter genes are kicking in. I just want to say welcome to GMNC, so I'm going to anyway.
Can't help yourself, eh?
I can't. So today we're talking about self-love. And if you're at home, and I know this is a topic that we all talk about all the time, but why don't you share your thoughts with us if you've already been practicing it? How have you been practicing it? Has your life been shifting? Share your thoughts with us and play with us today. We've got lots of games to play today.
Ooh.
So, Zoe, do you think you could love yourself a bit more?
Probably,
Do you
yes.
think you could be a bit more compassionate and forgiving, as you
Probably,
would
yes.
with your little ones at home, right?
I think moms are hard on themselves, aren't we?
We are very hard on ourselves. But how about let's try and not berate ourselves every time we don't make the cut? Let's try and be supportive. As you would, as I would, my 6-year-old, as you would, how old is your little one?
A 1-year-old and a 5-year-old.
As you would be talking to your 1-year-old and your
Yes.
5-year-old.
Yeah.
Let's try and talk to ourselves in that way. So before we get started, I always love to align our energies.
Let's
So
do
let's
it.
get tapping, guys, and thumping. We're going to do the 4 thumps. I hope you all will join me here. It's definitely calming and a great start to the day. So let's thump on our cheekbones.
Ooh.
And we're going to thump on our collarbones.
I love we've got like 80% of the studio doing it as well.
We do. And we're going to thump on our thymus gland, but we're going to miss the mic.
We're going
sorry.
to miss the mic. The boss will not be happy.
And then we're going to thump on our bra strap points.
Why not?
Cool. So now that we're feeling happy and energetic and alive, I have a fun fact for you. Did you know happy people are 30% less likely to get sick? How could that change your workforce, right?
Considering what you
happier
said last
people.
week, though, that makes perfect sense.
Yes. So let's talk about the self-love. So I have a nice story for you, and it's about Sally Sell. So Sally Sell was approaching her 50th birthday party, and she went through life like we all do. She felt fine. Haven't you heard the word fine quite often? How are you doing? I'm fine. Not I'm great, I'm happy, I'm fabulous, but I'm fine. So she also went through life fine. Until one day she got really ill and she was rushed into the emergency room at the hospital. And after doing many, many tests, they discovered that she needed a liver transplant, okay? And she was horrified and astonished because she didn't drink. She had no liver disease in her family, no bloodline of it, and so she was very astonished about it. But she got her liver transplant and she was back to living her life being fine. And 9 months later, at one of her checkups, Sally went to the doctor and the doctor said to her, listen, I am so sorry, but the liver we put in is now failing you. So you need another liver transplant. And again, she was horrified. So she decided to dive a bit deeper and find out what's really going on with her. And she remembered that the lady sitting next to her in the waiting room was there for her 3rd liver transplant. And that woman was the angriest, most bitter, negative person she could ever find, okay? And then Sally Sell did a course in Chinese medicine. And in Chinese medicine, every organ is associated with an emotion. The liver is associated with anger. So Sally decided to check, now what am I angry about? How is it that I am manifesting this disease in my body? What am I angry about? And then she discovered she was holding a lot of anger and non-forgiveness towards herself, okay? So she went on this mission and she decided to fix it. She went through doing self-love practices for 5 minutes every day. That's how she loved herself, right? And when she returned to the doctor a few months later, the doctor was astonished. He was like, what's going on here? This liver has cleared itself up. She didn't even require another liver transplant. And can you imagine how incredible that was? She literally cured herself with the practices of self-love. So in the spirit of that, we're going to play a little game, and we're going to talk about, it's the one that I do on the school run with my 6-year-old. And I invite you to play with us. So we're going to have turns saying, what do we appreciate about ourselves? So I'll start. I appreciate that I show up for myself. I'm here doing what I love and hopefully making your day brighter.
I appreciate about myself, I appreciate the fact that I wake up every morning excited to go to work. And I know not everyone is that lucky.
Definitely.
I'm genuinely excited every single morning when I wake up, like, yes, let's go get it. Because I get to do this.
That's awesome. I appreciate about myself that I try to be as kind as I can.
Oh, you got me thinking now, Prathisha.
And I hope you're thinking at home, what do you appreciate about you? We're quick to give everybody else compliments and appreciation. What do you appreciate about you?
Oh, goodness. I would appreciate, I suppose, I mean, I've had 2 babies, 2 beautiful baby boys, and despite not being known for being the most patient human being in the world, I do like to conquer this every single day, and I make a point of setting a better example to try and be more patient, so they'll grow up to be young men that are patient young men, because this is what we need out of our young men.
We do. And passing it along to our children is one of the things that I really stand by. So on the other, I want to leave you with a quote, but I also want to invite you throughout the day as you're going along. And you can put this on a Post-it, or you can just put it as a reminder on your phone. And the question's going to be, what loving thing can I do for myself right now in this moment? And just do it. And it's not going to take up 2 extra minutes of your day, I promise you. But I want to leave you with a quote by Dr. Siegel. And he had said, if I asked my patients to increase the immune globulins or killer T cells in their bodies, they wouldn't know how. But if I asked them to love themselves more or to love more fully, they could do that easily. And the beauty of it is that it would have the exact same effect.
Wow.
So love yourselves and do the best you can for your bodies and your health and your loved ones.
Phenomenal. Brilliant as always. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, you guys. You heard it. Be kind to yourselves. It goes a lot longer and a lot further than you would think. So, right, we're going to have a little ad break, and then after this, we're going to be talking to our regular Warren Loader. See you soon. Program that empowers your small business or your family through a cashback benefit on your monthly fuel spend? I'm excited to tell you that no matter what the size of your small business fleet or the number of cars in your family, all you need to do is simply refuel your vehicle at participating BP service stations countrywide, and the saving of 70 cents per litre on diesel and 13 cents per litre on petrol can be yours. There are no credit checks because the program follows a prepaid model. And voila! Let me show you how easy it is. To sign up, visit www.finlayfuel.co.za. Upon completion of your sign-up, you will receive an SMS notification confirming your membership. Arrive at the BP forecourt, identify yourself as a Finlay Fuel client. Enter your secure PIN into the terminal handed to you by the attendant. The attendant will scan your BP Fleet Move tag and a pre-authorization slip will be issued. Fuel will then be dispensed and a real-time SMS notification will be sent to you confirming the transaction. And off you go. Welcome back, my gloriously lovely people, and welcome back, Warren.
Morning.
And I believe I did my homework. I believe you have a fabulous story for us again today. What do you have for us?
Well, today's story actually comes from meeting somebody last week who was a direct descendant on the main person in the story. So I thought, well, let me do this story because we were just discussing their family and everything last weekend. Yeah.
That's perfect. That's wonderful. So as I understand, this was the surname Powell, because when I read it, the name sounded familiar.
Yeah,
the
there
surname.
was a Trooper Powell that was involved, and there was also Sergeant Knox.
Sergeant Knox,
Yeah,
that's
now
what it
the
was.
Knox family come from Belito.
Okay.
They actually have been here for many, many years, and set up one of the first hotels in Belito, actually. And then Leonard Knox was the other main character in the story. So, yeah, I met a direct descendant of Mr. Knox
That's incredible.
last week, and I thought, well, I said to her, well, you have to watch Belito TV, and you can come hear the story of your great-grandfather.
That's absolutely incredible. So take us back. When and where does this story start?
So basically, the story is it starts in Stanger during 1906, during the Bombata Rebellion, and Leonard Knox was with the Natal Mounted Rifles. He was a quartermaster sergeant, so he was in charge of all the wagons and provisions that were going up to a small little village of Mapamula. And he was on the wagon, and then Trooper Powell was sitting on the wagon. He was taking a lift from Durban because he had been on sick leave. And the story revolves around, it was quite quiet around the area for the last couple of weeks, so they weren't really worried about being attacked or anything. And it just so happened that that night a lot of bad things started happening around Thring's Post, and they didn't know it until the next day when they actually got attacked. And the story is about Trooper Powell, who actually got killed, and we were trying to find out where his grave was, because we had some information, but it was totally confusing. And we've eventually tracked his grave down to the municipal buildings in Mapamula, which used to be the old residency of the town clerk, I think it was. And that's now been demolished, and her gravestone was moved. So his grave is still there, but we were told it was on a tea plantation. So we were running around the area trying to find a tea plantation, and found a farm that was growing tea trees, which was not the right place, but it actually was the original Thring's Post. So it brought us back to the story.
All right.
But we've eventually figured out that he is buried in a tea plantation near Nkandla. So I haven't actually been out to the grave, but I managed to find a photograph of the gravestone. So yeah, that's basically the story. And then Leonard Knox was actually stabbed in the leg, and managed to run all the way, which was about 7 miles, I think, to Mapamula to go and raise the alarm, which chased the Zulus away.
I was actually just going to ask about that, because if I read it correctly, it was a 2-hour run after he'd been stabbed.
Yes.
I mean, that's immense.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
quite
he had
something.
been knocked over the head with a knob carry, hits on the knee,
And
stabbed, and made it all the way back.
And then ran for like 2 hours
And
just
then was
to sound the alarm.
still okay to have a beer with the guys in the afternoon.
Oh goodness,
Yeah.
that's insane. That's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah, that's insane though. And it's because we grew up in this area, we almost forget on a day-to-day life how rich our history is here. It's absolutely incredible.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I thought, well, you know, a lot of my stories over the last few weeks have been away from Belito, and originally it was local stories, so I'm trying to bring it back to the
home.
Belito area, yeah.
Yes.
And the Knox family, there's a Knox Road down near Salt.
Yes.
It's also part of Little Maritzburg's, all part of the Knox Road and Knox family and that. And they've been around here since the 1860s, 1870s, where the original Mr. Knox actually moved to Stanger from overseas, opened up the first hotel there, found it was too hot there, so he moved to Mhlali and opened up another one there. And his farm that he bought, he called it Retreat, because he was retreating from the heat of Stanger to Belito.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, so it's an interesting story of the Knox family, and
really is.
and they've been here for many years in Belito.
Yes, that's phenomenal. And if you ever do get the chance to make the journey to actually find that grave, we would definitely like to hear more about it.
Yeah, well, I've actually
the story
found
continues.
I found all the other graves from the Bombata Rebellion, and his Powell's is the only one that I actually haven't physically seen. So it's definitely on the bucket list, because I've written up the casualty list, and everything that happened surrounding the other colonial deaths during the Bombata Rebellion. So I have to go and see it at some stage.
Yeah, please do.
But I think the tea plantation's actually closed down now. I know it was going very well up until a few years ago, and now I just can't get hold of anybody. Telephone numbers just ring, so I think it actually has closed down.
Okay. All right. Well, if you ever get a trip out there, we really would like to hear about it. The
Okay.
story, to just, put the full stop on that story.
Yeah,
As it
definitely.
were. That's absolutely insane. And I think this is educational for our viewers, because Belito especially is growing so quickly. And we have a lot of people that live here permanently, not originally from this area, so they haven't necessarily grown up like we have hearing the stories. Because we have a lot of people that have moved here from Johannesburg. So it's nice that people know they're moving to an area with such rich history. And I was such a huge, we've discussed this off air before, I'm such a huge history fan because of my dad. I grew up watching the History Channel when other kids were watching Disney Channel. So for me, this is just so exciting. I absolutely love it. That for those viewers watching, if you want to take a look at what Warren has been doing, we have our thoughts of a middle-aged man, and they can Google you and they can find you and have a look at all of your stories. And every time Warren comes on, we talk about a new story, and it's so exciting. I'm always thrilled to see what you can bring for us, Warren. Thank you.
Oh, pleasure.
Awesome. And I'll probably be seeing you next week, I assume. And I look forward to what you have for us next week. And thank you, guys. And now, we will be going on to a quick ad break, and then after that, we'll be talking to Kevin from Hazpak. See you soon.
Passion, purpose, and aligned action is the driving force for all change. Chandramala is a mindful business consultancy bringing people and businesses together. Join me every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30 p.m. on Belito TV as I take you through a business alignment process and journey. Remember, now is your most precious moment.
Freshly ground, not capsuled. Coffee pleasure from Europe.
Belito TV, a proud sponsor of Miss Belito 2021, is excited to announce that we'll be live streaming the Miss Belito 2021 crowning event from Relax Inn on the 15th of October from 7 p.m. Watch live on our Facebook page, YouTube channel, website or app as we bring you the evening's festivities and the ultimate crowning of the Miss Belito 2021. See you there.
Welcome back, everyone. We are having so much fun on set this morning. And welcome, Kevin.
Thank you, Zoe. Thanks
So
for having me this morning.
So glad we got you here. So Kevin from Hazpak, loving the branding, absolutely. So tell us, before we get into the details, first tell us for those that don't know. Kevin, Hazpak, who are you? Who is the company? The making of it? Where did it all start?
Okay, so I've been involved with the business for 4.5 years now. It was a family business that started in 1990, focusing on the packaging of dangerous goods as well as the training to certify people in the handling of dangerous goods. I took over 4.5 years ago, and yeah, we've grown the business quite substantially over the last couple of years, thanks to a wonderful team and our staff. I mean, if it wasn't for them and their sort of motivation and their enthusiasm, we wouldn't be where we are today.
The the team makes the dream work and all that. Yes,
Yeah,
get all the clogs working nicely together.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, obviously, Hazpak, you're packing, but not just any ordinary packing and moving type of a thing. It's the handling of dangerous goods and handling the spills and the cleanups of all of that, as well as, I mean, there's another side to that which you wanted to talk about today, which is also the fire safety and the
That's
fire
correct.
equipment.
Yes. So, yes, we've certainly had some interesting packs. We've packed some aeroplanes.
Wow, you can
off to
pack an
Australia and to
airplane?
that. We can
Oh,
indeed,
my
yeah.
goodness.
We chop the wings off.
Lots
and,
of bubble wrap.
elevator, tons of bubble wrap and lots of wood and lots of dunnage.
Goodness, great.
A couple of years ago also, before my time, we moved the ragged-tooth sharks to the Dubai Mall.
Oh, wow.
You know, there's a big fancy aquarium there.
Yes.
So with all the oxygen cylinders and that had to be on the aircraft to generate oxygen for the sharks to breathe. Obviously, it was a hazardous shipment, and
Wow.
all the documentation and that kind of thing had to be put in place. And so that was also a very interesting pack for us.
Imagine.
And now, a year ago, in fact, this time last year, we started our fire extinguisher business. We saw a need in the area, in the North Coast, to promote fire extinguisher business. This is an annual sort of business that has to be done in terms of compliance. You have to service your extinguishers and maintain your hydrants and your hydrant valves, boosters, etc. So we got involved. I got my staff trained. I used my existing staff, so we upskilled them, and they thoroughly enjoy it. We got a new member of staff in, very experienced senior technician, and we just have incredible feedback. And
Yes.
we're looking to grow the business in Ballito, and I challenge Ballito businesses to get a hold of us.
Yes,
We've been supported by Ballito Estates, we've been supported by Comprop, and a number of other businesses in the area, and we just get positive feedback. So we look forward to servicing other Ballito businesses.
And if people are going to get the installation of, say, a system that's going to protect them in case of an emergency, is it a very involved process, or is it something quick and easy?
Well, it depends on the building. I mean, if you're building a massive building, a huge warehouse, etc., and depending on what you're storing in it, then it's very involved. We don't do that. We don't do the infrastructure for sprinkler systems, etc., but we do the installation of the fire extinguishers, hose
Yes.
reels, hydrants,
Yes.
and boosters.
So it's a simple
So-
thing. If people just take the time to get you in. I mean, we heard a story, I think it was in the last week, of a fire on a boat, of which some of the people that work here are connected to the people that were on that boat. And if, it's just one of those situations, the what if. Like,
Yes, well, a lot of
if
companies...
they had something, a system,
Yeah, a
just
lot of
something
companies
small
say...
in place.
Exactly, and it's so important because that just shows you how easy it can happen. And the first thing that insurance companies are going to look at are your compliance.
Yes.
Do you have your compliance certificate? When were your extinguishers, hose reels, hydrants, and booster valves serviced last? If they weren't serviced in the last 12 months, then your claim is going to be thrown out. So it is very important, and we all like to believe that our buildings are safe and there won't be fires.
It'll never happen to me.
Exactly,
Yes,
and
yeah.
look what's just recently happened. And I just, I hope for the sake of the owners that they had their fire compliance in place. So, because it is very, very important. There's always that chance, and we've got to be
Definitely.
prepared for it.
Definitely. I mean, on a smaller scale, I think it was earlier this year. I mean, it's always one of those things. I have a gas top stove, so when there's no electricity in this country, I'm prepared to still cook a meal for my family. And I was trying to work and cook lunch for the kids at the same time, and I somehow ended up leaving a pot with hot oil. And I walked away and I forgot about it. And it's simple things like that. And this has never happened to me before, so I was blank. I don't have anything to handle a hot oil fire situation, and I was just like, ah. And then the smoke was all over the walls. We had to repaint the whole kitchen. As if the fire was nearly reaching the...
Well, a word of advice to all homeowners with gas. Have a fire blanket and have a 1.5 kg DCP, which is a powder cylinder, at hand in your kitchen. We've put an advert in the Ballito magazine.
Okay.
We've put an advert in the Simbiti magazine or the North Coast Estate magazine. I can't quite remember. Alerting people that even as homeowners, we should make sure that we have something that can protect us from a
'Cause
fire.
it's such an easy
In fact, it's
mistake to
compulsory in
make.
America.
Yes,
In the States,
so I've
you have
heard.
to have a fire extinguisher and a fire blanket in your home. So
In America, they do go a lot more on gas than we do, so it's good that they've taken
Yeah.
that precaution. But I think more and more people nowadays are going to gas for their stoves and things like that, for the sake of the fact that we don't get much we get all these electricity cuts. So it's easy, but it's also so easy to forget. So easy to set fire to your kitchen, just like I did. And I felt terrible about it. It's very easy to beat yourself up about it. But I think you're going to be hearing from me soon. I need to get some kind of system in place so that hopefully not, but if something like that ever happens again, I mean, I live in my house with my 2 small children. I can't have.
well, we look forward to
disaster
hearing
like
from you,
that.
Zoe, and we hope
Definitely. You guys can
hopefully
look after me.
a lot of Ballito people who are watching Good Morning Ballito
Definitely.
or Good Morning North Coast, you know,
Yeah.
take interest in and be responsible.
Yes.
Do the right thing.
Whether it's small scale, big scale,
Absolutely.
it's necessary, especially being in a country like South Africa. I mean, today's going to be 35 odd degrees. And South Africa's the kind of country where all it takes is a cigarette being put out on some dry grass and you're done.
Right, yeah.
It doesn't take much. So that's
exactly.
phenomenal. And just so that people can find you, if they want more information, whether it be about the packing and everything involved, because that sounds not only packing something big, but the legalities of doing it, especially crossing over borders and everything, and about the fire and the safety and all of this. How can people get a hold of you, Kevin?
Well, they must look us up. We've got a wonderful website, www.hazpak.co.za. And of course, feel free to call our office on 032 815 0200. We're based here in the Doobie Trade Port. We've got a fantastic website, as it tells you everything we do. Some wonderful videos, pictorials of what we do and how we do it. And as I've mentioned earlier, we've got a fantastic team that really know what they're doing. And
Well, that's what's going to set people's minds at ease,
Yeah.
especially for those videos. I heard you talking about them earlier. People can actually see, and that's why we love to do this. People can meet the people that they're trusting. And in my case, trusting with my children's lives that this system is actually going to work. And it's a big thing for us, whether it's a large amount of money in your business or whether it's your family. There's, these are the things that need to be done, the precautions that need to be taken. So very educational, Kevin. Thank you. I'm so glad we got to do this.
well, thanks very much for having me.
Awesome, and I'll hopefully have you back again soon. And you can educate us more, and hopefully we can keep up with what you're doing. And if there's any more strange and exciting moves and packs and giant bubble wrap type things that happen, you must tell me. I'm interested in hearing these stories.
Super.
All
Thank
right.
you, Zoe.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right, guys, we're moving on. We're going to go to a quick ad break, and the lovely Sharon Sinclair from Chandramala will be sitting with me for her weekly slot. Stick around.
The importance of certified, compliant and good working fire equipment can mean the difference between your insurance claim being successful or rejected. All insurance companies insist on fire equipment compliance before business or buildings can be insured. Here we have BrokerSure leading the way by setting an example to others. Well-maintained fire equipment is the key to an insurance claim in the event of fire damage. Hazpak, being SABS and SAQCC accredited and certified, are well positioned to serve, maintain and provide new quality fire equipment such as fire extinguishers, hose reels and hydrants. Fire extinguishers, hose reels and hydrants require annual service and maintenance by law to be compliant. Hazpak offer these services through highly qualified technicians and a modern state-of-the-art workshop. Hazpak take the time and effort to remind their valued clients on an annual basis, taking the responsibility and worry away from the client through their up-to-date software systems. Hazpak offer quick and easy replacement services to ensure you, your business are protected and abiding to the laws. Remember, commercial locations have strict laws governing them with regards to fire safety regulations. Call us, make sure you and your business are compliant.
Welcome back, beautiful people of the North Coast, and Sharon.
Morning, Zoe.
I
How
love
are
our
you?
conversations. Thank you for coming back. Absolutely looking forward to it all week. What have you
Fantastic.
got for us today, Sharon?
Well, today we're going to be chatting about celebrating self, but it's going to be kind of a follow-on from last week, and we were talking about values last week, and so when you ask people to celebrate themselves, they go like, I've got these things to do, I've got responsibilities, and I've got children, and I've got a job, etc. And so it's very difficult for people to sometimes really look down and look at themselves and go, wow, what can I actually celebrate today? And it's the simplest things that we can celebrate, just the fact that we are here and that we are alive. But for me, it's a little bit more than that. And this is the type of work that I do, is I help people to discover the undiscovered things that they can celebrate. And so when we look at people when they reach a midlife crisis, and I always have a good chuckle about that because I've passed that midlife crisis, and we find people, they either get divorced or they have a nervous breakdown or they seriously have a midlife crisis, because I think that they've gotten to that point in their life where they've started to realize, oh my word, who am I really? And I think that society and the way that we've been brought up and schooling and a lot of external factors have sort of shaped and molded us as children. And with good intention, not bad intention, good intentions, to shape and mold us to become these ideal adults. But when we get to this adulthood, the world is not really the same as what we had perceived it to be or what we've been told it to be. And so we get to a point where we start to question, who am I? And so people change jobs, they get divorced, they move from a normal relationship to a same-sex relationship or anything like strange and crazy, people think, but for them it's not strange and crazy. And so it's an interesting thing when we say celebrate. So what have I got to celebrate? Because who I've learned to become over the years is not really who I am.
Yes.
And so my question rather to the viewers and to everybody is who are you really? Who am I really? And even for myself, I discovered this also later in life. It's not something that I discovered when I was 6 years old.
Of course.
I think when I was 6 years old, I knew who I was, and
yeah.
I went to school.
Confidence of a 6-year-old. You can carry that confidence forever, my good Lord.
Absolutely. But then as you get to high school and you start to get to your first job, you start to kind of become somebody else, because you've got to compete, you've got to survive in this world, and you want to be successful. And so there's so much pressure on people to not be who they really are. And when we get into our later ages in life, and it's average, I think the millennials are definitely ahead of us here, because they're doing this at a younger age.
Yes.
But normally on average, we're looking at between 35 and 45. People start to question, am I in the right career? Am I with the right partner? Am I doing what's right for me? And then they start to have all these conflictual kind of questions and conversations in themselves, and it's difficult for them to celebrate who they are. And so my encouragement is for people to really start asking themselves, like, really, who am I? What is it that we need to take off that isn't us? And unlearn what we've been taught and what we've learned of who to become, which isn't really who we are.
Yeah, because it's gotten me thinking. It's the whole idea of celebrating yourself, but if you don't know who you are, I almost kind of think it comes from the fact that we get launched into the real world, and as hard as they try in school, as you said, we're not generally prepared. So we very quickly start focusing on other things.
Yes.
And for me, it's work, kids, life, and we're so busy doing life we forget about ourselves.
Absolutely.
And then, I mean, I'm 29, nearly 30 now, kind of at that point now where I'm married, I've got kids, I love my work, but you know, as you go, you realize, have I just been living to work, or is there actually a me in there somewhere?
Absolutely. And that me has to be there. That me has to be there.
Yeah.
And so that's even with women and parents, and particularly women, because women are a lot more emotionally in tune. When their kids leave the nest, then there's another crisis. What happens then? And then they start to refine themselves. And sometimes that's a fantastic discovery and journey. And that's why I love the movie Mamma Mia, because it's just so appropriate, you know. But we can start to do that before the kids leave the nest, you know. And so I think it's an important thing to ask ourselves on a daily basis, like, who am I? am I actually in alignment with my value system? Am I in alignment with my true self? And once we learn to be in alignment with our value system and what is important to us, and part of that value system is me, and it's not a selfish element, it's an important element, because we have to nourish ourselves so we can be there fully for everybody else.
For the family,
and
for the
so we
kids.
have to nourish ourselves, and we have to put ourselves as priority, and then everybody else. Because as a mother, if you don't prioritize yourself, you can't be there for your children and
Yes,
for
you
your
have to
husband.
be at your best. So
You
that
have
your
to be at
kids
your best.
can grow to be their best.
Absolutely. And so the key component there is for you to prioritize yourself, and so that you can be the best. And so we're looking at how our value system, and asking ourselves, like, who am I on a constant basis, allows us to discover ourselves on a day-to-day basis, and then we can celebrate who we are. And we don't need to dress fancy, we don't need to drive a fancy car, we don't need to earn the big bucks. We can just be who we really are, because then we're genuine, we're authentic, but we're real, we're human. And so our level of connectedness with people and our level of engagement with people is so much from a much deeper, profound place. And therefore our interactions with ourselves, our interactions with other people is so much more meaningful and so much more purposeful.
Yes.
It just adds so much more value.
Yes.
You know?
I mean, again, you're getting me thinking here, Sharon. This is phenomenal. It's got me thinking that I was very lucky, because my parents always encouraged myself and my brother to be what we wanted to be.
Fantastic.
And in a way, it was odd that our main education getting on my trick took a back seat. He wanted to be a horse racing jockey, I wanted to be a musician, and they allowed us to do that.
Fantastic.
And also watching my parents, the way they lived life. I mean, by the time they got us out of the house, they were like, right, less bills to pay, kids are out of the house, let's do it. So they started saving up and going on different international holidays every year.
Awesome.
My dad, being a retired from the British military, he became a range officer, and he was on the range all the time. My mom started doing art because it runs in the family. She was always like, I wonder if I've got it. I wonder if I can do it. She went for art lessons, and it's just her passion. And just watching them get on with life so smoothly. Even after we left, it was just like they were like, instead of going, oh, empty nest, they were like, let's live life. This is my opportunity to do all the things I couldn't do when they were kids, as much as they love us. But and now we got to give them grandkids, and the great thing about grandkids is you can give them back. You can give them back. Send them away.
And you see how fantastic that is. And so can you see how the way that your parents nourished you and allowed you the freedom to be who you are from a young age, and they didn't stand in your way, how beneficial that was for you, and how that is playing out in the way that you bring your
doing what I love.
But you see, fantastic.
Which
And-
is
and you're
unheard of
happy.
almost.
This is the thing. And if I look at, there was a video on LinkedIn, actually yesterday I watched, from Simon Sinek, and I'm such a fan of his, and he says that when you ask people, like, do you love your work? So few people say that, and you're saying, I love my work. I love my work as well.
It's not just because I know all of my bosses are watching this. I genuinely do love my work, and I love them, and I love the people I get to work with as well.
I believe you. But you see, this is key. And when you ask people, it's the same as Prathisha said this morning, is you ask people, how are you? And they say, fine. Fine is a seriously concerning word, because fine has got many definitions.
Fine isn't great.
It's not great. It's not
No,
fantastic.
it's
It's
not
not
good.
phenomenal. It's not
Yes.
awesome. And so you ask people, like, do you love what you do? And people ask me, do you love what you do? I absolutely love it. I couldn't do anything else. I
Super
don't-
lucky.
Okay.
We found ourselves, obviously.
Yeah,
and
we love what
get
we
to
do.
it.
But how many people are out there that really love what they do and love who they are? And so it's something that we need to ask ourselves on a regular basis, so we can get our lives on track, so we can actually have some more joy and celebrate. Because I do believe that that's exactly why we've been born, is to enjoy, celebrate,
Live life to the
live
fullest.
life to the fullest, and
What a
not
great
have
lesson.
all this weight on us,
Yeah.
unnecessary weight.
Yeah, carry the weight, but remember to have some fun. And what a great lesson that is for everybody. But before we wind up, Sharon,
Yes.
how can people contact you? Let us not forget. So that people can come to you and learn from you.
Absolutely. So they can contact me on my mobile. Definitely WhatsApp. Don't phone me. I don't like answering phones. So they can WhatsApp me on 074 899 2293, or they can email me at sharon@chandramala.com. And then also they can have a look at my website, which is www.chandramala.com.
Fantastic.
for some coaching, mentoring, and learning how to just discover
and these meaningful
themselves.
conversations. I mean, just this
Absolutely.
conversation's got me thinking a little bit harder about myself, and I absolutely love that. And I love how both you and Prathisha have kind of working in sync almost unintentionally. I love it. So I love getting you two on the couch with me. It's phenomenal.
Fantastic.
But you guys heard it. It's same what we said with Prathisha. Be kind to yourselves. Also celebrate yourselves. The two go hand in hand. All right, guys. Now, I do believe we are going into an ad break. And then after that, we will have a pre-recorded interview with Deon from Syntelo.
Welcome to Relax Inn. Situated in the heart of KwaZulu-Natal's Dolphin Coast, nestled on 2 acres of beautifully manicured gardens with panoramic ocean views and within walking distance of the pristine shores of Sharkers Rock Beach. Our dine-in restaurant offers a mouth-watering menu and caters not only to hotel guests but local residents too. Our venue is perfect for your fairy tale wedding destination with an outdoor garden chapel seating up to 200 guests and a 300-seater ballroom, ideal for receptions, corporate conferences, and functions. Secrets Health Beauty and Day Spa offers guests the opportunity to escape, unwind, and feel rejuvenated. Our accommodation is tailored to the discerning business traveler, holidaymaker, and perfectly suited for that romantic getaway. We look forward to welcoming you to the Relax Inn.
Welcome back to your Good Morning Breakfast show. With me in studio, I've got Deon from Syntelo. Deon, thank you for joining me this morning.
Taryn, thanks for inviting me.
No, it's lovely having you here. So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of us don't know who you are and others do. What is Syntelo? Who are you? What does it all involve?
So I've got about 18 years experience in the industry. Spent about 11 years in the corporate space. And in the last 7 years, about 2014, we birthed Syntelo. Really just saw an opportunity in the industry just to really focus on our strength, which was more on the services side. So managed to develop long-standing relationships, top brands. So we pride ourselves in bringing all the top brands together and then applying a service streamlined SLA to our clients to solve the problems they've got in this area.
So when you talk about problems, what problems would those be for the office users?
Yeah, so I think early on we picked up just, there's that cliche, I think, on the service where everyone says our different area or our USP is on the service side. I think we just realized early on that this is an area that we really can take the bull by the horns here, So the problem I think we saw was just downtime on printers, bad quality voice calling, just issues, just a lot of frustrated clients, getting passed around from supplier to supplier. I think no one that doesn't enjoy IT, well, let's rather say it this way, people that don't enjoy IT don't want to be having those conversations, you know.
No.
So, yeah, that's where we came on board and we said, well, let us come on board as part of your office, but we'll be your office manager essentially. The benefit from our side is you get to sign one contract and let us do all the fighting for you.
She says it's basically from your voiceovers to the printing to what all does it include?
Yeah, so we've split the business up into three main areas. The first is your managed print solution space, so that's your office automation. It's generally the area where we put printing hardware down, and then we make it work for the client. So we use systems to manage the devices. We use systems to manage the users, to manage the costs, to make sure you don't run out of toner. We make sure that
that's the number one problem,
that's the number one
isn't it?
thing, you know. So we're very proactive in that area, making sure that we run on alert systems and things like that. We also have backing from finance companies. We've also got an internal finance division, and this helps us to get the latest technology into these offices where running costs actually run very economically. So that's our main goal, to obviously get the client the lowest possible running costs on their printing and give them obviously the best productivity.
Yeah.
The second one is the telecom space, and same methodology applies where instead of being passed around, you know, from supplier to supplier, we give them a cloud telecoms solution. We sort of give their number to them as well, their itemized billing. We look at managing their data, and we obviously align the solution to their goals. I think everyone's making sure that they just want a business that runs on communications. You know, communications is such a backbone to any business.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that the goals are achieved, that they've got streamlined internet connectivity.
Well, that is the main thing. I mean, everything is, you know, interrupted. We don't have streamlined internet connectivities anymore. Then everything else falls on the back end.
That's it, yeah. So I think the main thing from us is the fact that we go into a client and we understand what their goals are. We understand that the client's just looking to be able to have the best in terms of communication. That they want the clearest voice calls going through, that do not want data issues. You know, we've got enough issues with load shedding and that type of thing. So,
isn't that fantastic?
And just to make sure that there's clarity, transparency with their billing, and that we can account costings to departments and users. That's obviously a key focus for us as well. And then the third area is the cloud solution. So we bolt on, we're very much a solution-focused company. So we bolt on Microsoft 365 solutions, cloud solutions, server solutions, that type of thing.
Okay, so it really is a one-house shop stop, isn't it?
It is, yeah, exactly.
And then tell me, for a company, do you know, choose certain sized companies, or can any person from being the smallest little business to the largest business come and contact you, or do you prefer a larger corporation?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it actually ties in quite well with our goals as a company, because I think as a business, we don't just want to be having this buy and sell type of relationship. We actually want to tie into the bigger community. And it's a lot of the smaller businesses. We want to help them grow, just like us. We also came from those roots. We're not the biggest company either. We understand those frustrations. So I think any office, even from one person, is an office that requires these things. You know, they don't want downtime on printing, internet, voice calling. Those things need to run well. So I would say we've got a space where we focus, and we've got solutions just for your 1 to 10 man office.
Okay.
And anything from there up to 100 would fit our sort of more small, medium-sized businesses. So yeah, we cater to all groups.
That's absolutely fantastic. And like you say, especially with the younger, the smaller businesses, you want to have it all streamlined and working from the get-go. You don't want any, you know, anything holding you back. And product supply, obviously, like you're saying about the toner. So obviously, you'll do the whole management. And when it comes to purchasing new things, you guys will inform the business, say, listen, it's a bit outdated.
Yes,
and,
correct.
You know, and with the financing and
so we
forward
find
planning.
that. So the thing about this industry is, you know, technology is coming out all the time. So where that affects the business is that running costs with the outdated equipment, as soon as it gets past a specific line or area, you know, it's really good for us to come in and review the account and see what's happening to their costs. I mean, you know, on the internet side with ISPs, costs are constantly going down and dropping. You know? So it's our job for our client to make sure that we keep an eye on that. As soon as you know, we feel there's time to review the account, it's us going in and saying, look, if we had to put new equipment in, this would be the net effect from a costing point of view, but these are the benefits that we can obviously add to the value of your business.
And then Dale, where are you guys located? You know, can anyone contact you for your services? Are you in a specific region?
So yeah, we've got one of our main offices in Joburg. We basically have a presence throughout South Africa. We've got a footprint in Cape Town, Joburg, Pretoria, as well as KZN.
Okay, great.
Right now, though, we've got a big focus on our Joburg office and on our KZN office, which is situated right here in Ballito.
Fantastic. So there's no excuse for us not to use your services.
Absolutely
eh?
not. Yeah. So we had to really just plug into the community here. So we're going to be really just looking at other businesses, seeing how we can partner up with them. We're looking at a few sponsorship deals now with some of the corporates down here, and we really just are plugging into whatever we can.
It's so exciting and so fantastic. And I know off air we touched base on the BNI side of things. Do you want to maybe tell our viewers a bit about that?
Yeah, so BNI, we're involved in BNI in Joburg. And Business Networking International. It's just an opportunity to come together for small businesses to represent your business, get a bit of a sales team around you that can really, when they're at their clients, obviously bring you in as a business and really just looking out for each other. So that's a platform we've joined here in Ballito. Yeah, and if anyone's keen, they can get in touch with me and come and look at how their business can meet other businesses. Obviously, it's a way also where your business can receive referrals. So we're looking for businesses that we can join forces with, where we can give them referrals, they can give us.
That's
and by
great.
Doing that, we can tap into that goal of growing these small businesses in the area.
We can't do it alone. We need to do it with one another at the end and look after one another. And I mean, if you've got a route to market that can help me, why not?
And I think we've realized that in a big way, it's actually part of what Syntelo is this mantra, just to focus on your strengths. And like I said earlier, like our strength is only this specific area. We want to do that well.
Yeah.
But that actually means we need to partner up with other businesses.
In order to
it's all about coming together and focusing on your own strengths.
Oh, Del, that's absolutely amazing. Well, we really enjoyed having you in studio today. Guys, please contact Syntelo. They really are amazing. Like you heard, they've got a big footprint. They're looking for partnerships. They're looking for other businesses to grow with. You really won't regret this. After the ad break, we'll be right back.
And that is our show for this morning. Thank you so much for joining me. Always appreciate having you with us in the mornings. I would like to, of course, thank all of our guests and our viewers and our sponsors who make this possible for us every single morning. You guys can stick around. We'll be enjoying a music video by the talented young Blohm. And a reminder that the next episode of Chandramala is on tonight at 7:30 p.m.
Van allerhande dinge. Sy dra Levi jeans, maar die mooiste lê binne. Das wysheid in haar lyf van mooi en haar sinne. Sy dra Levi jeans, soos heilige linne. Sy kan nie op water loop nie, maar dis okay met my. Sy hou nie van blomme pluk nie, sy hou te veel van hoe dit lyk. En die skepe ry verby, oh Jeffrey's Bay. Sy droom heel nag van allerhande dinge, van Levi jeans en goue ringe. Das wys net in haar lyf van mooi en haar sinne. Levi jeans is heilige linne. Sy kan nie op water loop nie, maar dis okay met my. Sy hou nie van blomme pluk nie, sy hou te veel van hoe dit lyk. En die skepe ry verby, oh Jeffrey's Bay. op water loop nie, maar dis okay met my. Sy hou nie van blomme pluk nie, sy hou te veel van hoe dit lyk. En die skepe ry verby, Jeffrey's Bay. Sy droom heel dag van allerhande dinge. Sy dra Levi jeans met die mooiste lid binne. Dis wysheid in haar lyf en mooi en haar sinne. Sy dra Levi jeans soos heilige linne. Sy kan nie op water loop nie, maar dis okay met my. Sy hou nie van blomme pluk nie, sy hou te veel van hoe dit lyk. En die skepe ry verby, Jeffrey's Bay.